welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Pleasure.
How are you feeling?
Good. It's been a busy day full of promo, but this is what we do with Eurovision, of course. And it's also wonderful to talk to people who have the same love for Eurovision as me. So it was a brilliant day.
That's fantastic. So you had your first rehearsal a couple of days ago. Am I right?
Yes, that
And
was.
okay.
Sorry?
So yeah, tell us a bit about how was it. What were your feelings? When you stepped into that stage, into that huge stage of Eurovision.
Yeah, it was quite overwhelming. It was, yeah, you feel like you're stepping onto holy ground. This is the Eurovision stage. This is very serious. This is
Yeah.
a big deal. But it was also it's a beautiful arena. In a weird way, it felt kind of intimate, even though it's a huge stage and it's a huge arena. It has something very cozy because everyone is in a circle around you.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I think by the time we started doing the second and the third run through during rehearsal, I really felt like, okay, I think we're onto something here. We can do this. And a lot of things came together because, you're preparing for months and months on visuals, on the choreo, on the outfits. And even though you have a concept and a staging concept, it's still going to come down to you being in that arena and seeing what's going to happen. So it really felt good that things translated and the vision was perceived in a good way.
That's so nice to hear, actually, because sometimes when artists step into that stage, and they have the first rehearsal, things do not go as planned. For some people, but it seems that in your case everything went kind of like according to plan, right?
Yes, I think so. I mean, we're still going to tweak some things. Tomorrow is our second rehearsal, and we definitely are changing some parts of the styling. We're changing some parts of the choreo. We're changing some camera positions. But that's more like me being a perfectionist and tweaking as much as I can for a second rehearsal just to get it right. We rehearsed this morning again with the whole crew in a separate studio just to make sure we get as much out of the time we have to rehearse tomorrow. I really want to be very strict on that with my team. So I'm also very blessed to have a team like that who is willing to do that kind of work extra for me. So I'm very, very, very blessed.
So we love your staging concept and the colors as well. So yeah, we think that you got a little inspiration from, well, of course, voguing. So how did you get in contact with the dancer and the movement?
Yes, well, for me, when I was developing this whole concept for the staging, I also honestly I do read things online and I read what people are saying. And with so many people saying, "Oh my God, if he would do something with a ballroom dancer, if someone would start to vogue on stage, I would lose my mind." And it came back so many times. I was like, "We have to do something with it." And honestly, it was already an idea in our brain, but to see it in the comments, I was like, maybe we should really start to really focus on doing something like that. And we met Pussy because we were recording some videos and we needed someone from the ballroom culture to help us out. And she happened to be touring because she's from America. She lives in New York and she just happened to, oh, I just fell out. What happens?
No, you're fine.
It's all right.
You're
Sorry,
fine.
something happened on the screen. I'm sorry. This is the problem with all these Zoom meetings. There's always something happening on the screen. I'm sorry. So we already went with Pussy for a video and there was a really good connection with her. And for me, it was very important as a queer artist to involve people who are from the culture. Meaning, I didn't want a dancer to vote on stage who was not part of ballroom culture. And with Pussy, we have someone who's from the House of West in New York. She's a legend in her house. She comes from a house that's represented all over the world, and it makes for a very credible experience, because she comes from the culture, and I am not from the culture, so it would make no sense for me to not have a liaison and to go to someone who is from that culture. And to me, the blessing about Pussy is, same with my three vocalists, they're so good at what they do. I can't help but smile when I see them perform with me. And it just helps me to perform better because they're right there with me doing an amazing job. And it just helps the whole celebratory atmosphere of the song to be represented onto the stage. So I'm very, very happy about that.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I really think that it comes across, to be honest. Because I think we are of the same age, you and I'm very happy to see, that you brought into the stage something that relates to our generation, right? Something that relates to the queer culture of our generation. Do you actually feel proud about, bringing all that tradition into the Eurovision stage?
Yes, and thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that you see that. Um, yeah, it's tremendously important to me, even because when I got to the semifinal, got to the national final, I was in a perspective of mainstream culture, which is something I don't necessarily work in a lot as an artist. And I felt if I get this chance and singing a song because of you, it's really about celebrating the people who brought you to where you are in life. It would make no sense for me to celebrate only myself on stage. It would be the opposite message of the song. And I felt I know there's people that I work with who are not represented always in mainstream culture that I can lift right now. So it really became about representing those kind of people in my song and celebrating them instead of only me, basically. Which I have nothing against me. That can be a fine artistic endeavor to be like that. It's just not my choice, you know. So for me, it really is something that I want to celebrate. And I think, like you said, when I was growing up in the early '90s, there was house music and pop music. There was queer references and queer culture there that I saw on my television screen. I was a young gay kid and I didn't really know what it all meant, but it resonated in my soul and in my heart. And it feels like I'm honoring that little boy in that moment because I'm telling him, like, you felt things that were right because I'm actually doing what you felt in that moment when you were a little boy. So it really is a tribute to the beauty of seeing things that you can connect with. And I do believe in a naive way that it's good that we represent that on Eurovision because there will be little boys and little queer kids that may find strength and may find something that resonates within them. I hope my song gives them a little pat on the back, like, it's okay, we're here, you got this. That's what I want to do with my song.
That's great and very beautiful.
Thank you.
So we got the hint that the jacket that you were wearing in your first rehearsal is not the one that you're going to wear. So can you give us any hints? Will we see
Well,
it tomorrow or only at the semifinal?
you will see it. That's for sure. I can't say too much about tomorrow, but what is true is the jacket was not the final jacket because I want to make some last adjustments because of, again, I'm a perfectionist and I want the vision to be right. And I've had the pleasure of working with Walter van Beirendonck, a great Belgian designer that is really a legend in his art form. And we were talking, and I think we felt we could still tweak some little bits and bobs here and there. And, I would rather, and I felt for first rehearsal, it's fine. If we represent the color scheme, we represent the color vision that will work with the visuals, will be fine. But what I'm wearing definitely for the performance itself will be more elevated even than what I'm wearing here. So I can't say too much, but tomorrow is going to be already quite different than what you have seen on Monday.
Okay.
What about the trousers, actually? Because the trousers are just amazing. And I want to get a pair for myself, actually.
Well,
I
they're
don't know
also
where to get them. I mean, you should let me know where to get them, but they are gorgeous. I don't know if you are planning to kind of exploit those trousers.
you want me to get an online shop so you can buy the pants. That's what you're saying.
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, you should let me
Some
know.
merchandise.
Well, the thing is, that's also from Walter van Beirendonck, but it's actually because we were able to go into the archive of Walter van Beirendonck's collection from like all those years that he's been working, and this is a pants that actually comes from a collection from 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And the pants is great because it's actually 3 pants in one. So you have the downwards is like a skinny pants. Then you have like something based on riding pants, like literally what when you wear a horse would wear. And the upper is based upon like Scouts shorts. The Scouts that wear these little shorts.
Yeah.
So it's actually 3 pants in one. The only thing I will tell you, it's a little sneak for you guys. Normally between those pants you see skin. But I was really telling everyone I am too old to show skin on Eurovision, so I wore leggings so it wouldn't be too naked. No, I mean I'm sure your legs are great, but I need to hide my legs in leggings. It's for sure.
I'm sure your legs are fantastic. Well, how many hats do you have? Because every time that we saw you, we saw you with a different hat, and this blue one, I really love it, and I also love the shirt, to be honest, that you're currently wearing. But how many hats do you have?
Well, I think in the house, I'm getting close. I think in between 40 and 50 hats.
Oh.
So it's always been an obsession, but I think because of this experience, I really went buck wild on the internet and in the shops and bought more hats. To the horror of my husband, who was like, "We have no room for more hats. Stop it." So we'll have to, after Eurovision, I'm gonna have to buy a bigger closet for all these hats. But it's just something that I really love. I've always been into fashion. I love the idea of choosing clothes to elevate who you are, and accessories are another manifestation of that art form, I think.
Uh-huh. So something that you told us at the pre-party Madrid was that your plan for your staging was to kind of make it a little bit more, how can I say it, less static, and a little bit more active. Probably you want to make more use of the stage. I'm not sure if I'm
Mhm.
right.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we're doing. What you've seen on the video as well. We're really using all of the stage. We're using the front stage, using the stage that goes to the oval stage and the oval stage itself.
Uh-huh.
And as you will see, there's more interaction with the backings as well. And of course, when we introduce Pussy to the whole concept, this will elevate the whole thing into even more dynamics. So I think it's a combination of those three elements that will make for a more dynamic performance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And the stairs? Aren't you scared to go down the stairs while performing?
No, you're telling me my biggest fear. It's always scary. And also it's the stage is fine, but it's of course it's on wheels, so it is secure, but it
Yeah.
moves a little bit as well. Even when I'm dancing up there, it's always like, oh, it's moving. And the stairs, yeah, we have a thing. My name, my real name in life is Steph, and I have a thing with my friends, and they call it Steffing it, and that means when you stumble over something, you trip over something, you spill something on yourself. We call it Steffing it. So I'm hoping I will not Steff it on those stairs in Eurovision. That would be, oh my God, that would be the biggest disaster to see me like fall off those stairs in front of millions of people. Let's not put that into the world right now. That's not gonna
Not gonna
happen. Right?
happen.
It
We'll be fine.
won't happen.
It won't happen. You'll just be fine. Well, your song, I think it's a grower, to be honest. A lot of people have been paying more and more attention on you, I think, right? So I'm not sure about how you feel about your possibilities at Eurovision, whether you feel that the support for your song has been increasing with the passing of time and, your contributions to per parties, etc.
Well, yes, you're right. Because even today, during the interviews, the beauty about Eurovision is that all the journalists, all the bloggers are Eurovision fans. Even when it comes down to the big papers and the big news outlets, they all come there because they love Eurovision. And some of them were quite vocal, telling me like, in the beginning, I wasn't the biggest fan, or I didn't really care for it much, but now I'm a huge fan of the song. It really comes back a lot, as you say. And I
Mhm.
think it's kind of beautiful, and it's kind of the beauty of the whole contest as well, because I've seen that happen with other songs as well in the contest throughout the years. How performing the songs, people giving people the time to really like get to know the artists and the songs, really can help you forward in the competition, and it's very beautiful to see that people are connecting with the song right now. And you know what, I also think any national selection will create a polarizing effect, and I think that's fine. I think there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the nature of contest.
Hmm.
But it's beautiful to see that people now can like go of those things and are like, it's actually a good song. It's a bop. I can dance to it. And for me, that's a really beautiful thing, because when I heard it in the beginning, I really did feel something of a resistance with the song, which is fine. And I felt more driven to really prove some people wrong. Like, no, 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 this is something that's worth listening to. And I think it's a testament to sometimes sticking to your guns and to believing in what you want to create as an artist.
Well, I don't think there is anything to resist about this song. You just have to embrace it, really. I mean, in this show, we have been massive fans of your song, from the very beginning, and we do hope for you the best, in your semifinal. I think we just have one further question. What's one final question for you, which is related to the fact that Eurovision has been celebrating in the UK for this edition, right? So I'm not
Yes.
sure if you had the opportunity to try any British delicatessen so far. If you can name one, particularly full English breakfast. What do you think about full English breakfast?
Oh, I have to say, I'm a fan of full English breakfast. I hope I'm not offending. Yeah, I know people sometimes, you either hate or you love it, I feel. But I really like it. I'm sorry. But the thing is, in all honesty, you need to be a bit hungover to really appreciate it. Also part of the full English experience to me. And I think there's something about that really fatty food, and the white beans and the toast. I love the blood. It's a preference. The blood pudding, the black pudding. I really adore that as well. I get into it. You have to say, I'm a big fan. I love all cuisine. I love to eat, and I love having like a great dinner at a fancy restaurant. But I also enjoy like having sometimes just some good fast food. And I think something like a full English breakfast is very comforting. It's comfort food, and I understand that it's an emotional kind of like thing as well. And yeah, I mean, I've been at Liverpool in March to do a little promo, and I had some more time. Now it's quite busy, but that's more time to really get to know the city. And I did enjoy. Yeah, I know how you feel about it, but I do enjoy a good fish and chips as well. I think that's
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was just my
Uber Eats, that's calling.
Well, I mean, fish and chips. That all depends on where you get it, right?
Yeah, it's true. And they have like this thing called mushy peas, which is like like peas that are really mushed together, and you dip the fries into it. And in the beginning, I was like, oh my god, this is disgusting. But I kept doing this, and my head was licking out the pot, like, oh my god, it's so good. So they get comfort food very well here, I have to say. But it's all preference.
Okay, Gustaph, it's been a pleasure to have you again in our show. It was a pleasure to have you in the pre-party a few weeks ago in Madrid.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it so much.
Seriously, you look fabulous. You look fabulous in the Eurovision show, what you were wearing. You're really.
Oh, well, Milena was amazing. Yeah, that's for sure.
You're good dressed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And well, we wish you the best, as I said, for your semi-final. We do hope to see you in the final, and I'll be there, watching you in the final, doing great.
Thank you so much. That was a great talk. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.